welcome back everyone, welcome back to another week, another edition here of the KSL of the Korean StarCraft League, week number 87, your monthly dose of Korean StarCraft. I'm of course your ZvT. With me I'm joined by these amazing players and by the people in the chat as well. Welcome one and all to a catch-up stream. As a reminder, for some greater context, this tournament we usually cover live. This tournament did occur over the weekend. It did occur over the weekend on the 21st. Now we're here on the 27th, you know, almost a week later, less than a week later, okay, to be fair. But if you recall, one of the reasons why we did not cover this is because of the RSL. We were casting the RSL, we were focusing on the RSL, and again, I barely got any sleep, so I didn't feel confident that I could cover KSL and RSL back to back and actually have like quality casting, just because of how fatigued I was. So I do apologize not being able to cover this live over the weekend, but now we're here to catch up with those replays, to catch up and to make up for what we lost on Saturday. Let's go. Let us go. So we're going to be jumping in. We're going to be jumping into the quarterfinals here of the KSL. Going to be jumping into SHIN versus Bunny. ZvT, a bit of a rarer sight, specifically Bunny. Bunny, he doesn't really often play in a lot of these online cups. Whether it's the What Is TV Mondays or Monday Night Weeklies or Picture Cups, Bunny is a rarer sight to behold. So happy to see some Bunny action here over the weekend during KSL. Also great to see some SHIN action, just because Zerg play is quite rare nowadays. So we get to see some Zerg action. I'm ready for it. I'm excited. Let's go. Game 1 is going to be on Taito Citadel. Let's go. Otherwise, hope everyone's been enjoying themselves as we do enter and head towards the weekend. True. We're getting there. But here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Taito Citadel, we have the red Zerg player. We have the red Zerg player himself. We have the South Korean Zerg representing himself from the team list. It is SHIN. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Terran, the blue Terran player himself from South Korea, representing Team Falcons. It is Bunny. Let's go. I forgot to add the logos mod. Hopefully I remember at some point in this tournament. No. Hopefully after this game we'll be able to add the logos mod, but otherwise we're jumping into Taito Citadel. This is one of the other more quirkier maps out there. It's a bit of a larger map. The goal base is always a factor as well, bottom left hand corner, like it can factor in, especially in a longer and later game, but we do know that Bunny is typically a more aggressive player here in ZvT and usually very in your face in the mid game. So I'm curious and excited to see how he does approach SHIN. As I mentioned, like Bunny is a bit of a rarer side in these tournaments, and I'm a big Bunny fan. Ex-CJ Bunny. Self-placed in my heart. As for now, we do have our standard openers. It is going to be Hatch, Gas, Pool, more or less standard opener out of SHIN, more or less. Likewise, Bunny as well, going for his own Rack Expand. Nothing crazy, nothing wild. When it comes to some of the features of the map, the third base locations are quite far away from the natural. You can see here the distance between the bases is quite long, quite large compared to other maps. This does mean that if you fail to scout a move out, if you fail to see a drop or any kind of maneuvering or pivoting from your opponent's army, regardless of who it is, whether it's Zerg or Terran, but if you fail to spot that and if you're not in position, then it can be very, very punishing. It can be very punishing here, and it's quite easy to start losing bases, start losing mineral lines, and for everything to just fall apart if you're unable to keep up or unable to see what's coming ahead of time. Whether it's pre-splitting your army or scouting it ahead of time, one or the other needs to be done here, otherwise things can get very chaotic. Here we go. Zelnagas do help with that a little bit here. So there's Zelnaga Tower in the center of the map, but still won't give you all the information you need. So it comes down to Overlord positioning, Ling positioning as well. Creep spread, of course, going to be a big factor here to try to keep up with the movement of the Terran. When it comes to that kind of play, Bunny is typically a bio player. We have been seeing a spike up in mech from players like Maru, players like Cure, even Bjorn has been dabbling a little bit in mech in ZvTs, so we have been seeing it from time to time. Bunny is one of those players that I have not yet seen embrace mech this patch. I specify this patch because previous patch, you know, with the old Cyclone, we did of course see everyone playing mech, but again, that was, you know, in a previous lifetime. Previous patch, we look to forget about all that. With the old semi-broken Cyclone, like those rough times, baby, rough times. For now though, Bunny does get eyes on the linear third. Does get eyes on the third base. Behind this, getting to zone 3rd, TC into Starport. Economic opener so far. We should be seeing a tech lab soon here for the add-on swap into Banshee play, just to be safe. Otherwise, we could see the add-ons stay on the racks instead and go Viking first, Viking into Stim, into earlier Bio, into Viking Liberator. That's also a viable option here for Bunny. It's a little bit rarer though. It's just safer to go Banshee, typically. Especially if your opponent's going to go Roaches, and oh, that is a hidden Roach Horn here, sub 4 minutes. Okay, this is around 3:35, around 3:35, 3:30-ish Roach Horn timing out of Shin, very early. And with this, Shin is looking to go for a Roach all-in. You'd never get a Roach Horn this early on unless you plan to commit across the map and to be hyper aggressive. Likewise, this is also before Lair, and I would imagine we're going to be hitting without any kind of Lair, without any kind of upgrades, just straight Ling Roach. Now, oh no, it's not Banshee. It is going to be Viking first, no add-on swap. I'm concerned, as I mentioned before, Banshee play is very safe, especially against Roach-based play and Roach-based builds, but this is not Banshee, this is Viking, and Shin should be feeling good about this. The Viking is revealed, and now he knows there's no Banshees to be worried about. Oh boy, the all-in is coming. The all-in is coming, and it's going to hit very hard. So just setting up the logos more than he's trying to. Go. But there we go, the all-in is going to be setting up. The Viking moves out to get some scouting information to try to get a read on what's going on. It takes over the Zelnaga tower. Quick reaction by Shin, saves the Zergling. Lings they poke in, they get eyes on the Hellions, and then again behind this we have one tank on the way. That tank is going to be the backbone of the army. On top of that though, there's no bunkers, right? There's no bunkers, lack of Sim City, lack of defensive setup, because Bunny does not know. He hasn't seen anything. And the all-in's coming. The all-in is coming, as I mentioned, no Lair, right? There's no Lair, there's no upgrades except for Ling speed. So Ling's going to be reinforcing across the map. The Ravagers are morphing in as well to bow down the tank. There is going to be one tank to defend. And Roaches are revealed, he knows. Yeah, now he knows. Now he knows what's going on, now he does pull away. Lings, they hit the 3rd. Roaches push in, the tank has arrived. The boys can be pulled. Tank does siege. Oh! One tank shot, massive tank shot here. The Roaches, 2 Roaches go down. But again, those Ravagers, they want that tank. Nice focus firing on one of the Ravagers. Lings, they're flooding in. That's a lot of Zerglings. Yeah, a lot of Lings are flooding in. Roaches are being targeted down. The tank barely gets away. No, the tank. No, the tank goes down. Oof, and without the tank, there is no defense. Yeah, there's no defense here. We have one more tank on the way, but it's too little too late. The Lings, they flood into the main. The tank tries to get away, tries to siege out the Biles. Oh my god, the Biles on the SCVs. And we're getting on top of that final tank. It's going to be targeted down. There's no saving it. Now, the Ravagers are going to get surrounded, but this is still critical damage already. Yeah, critical damage. Ay, ay, ay. We're just killing as many SCVs as possible. With that, Bunny's down to 18 SCVs. Yes, he has mules. True, he has triple CCs, triple orbitals. Mules will help, but there's only so much. Only so much mules can achieve here. As Bunny behind this is droning. Now it's time to drone. To drone, to saturate. We have the Lair on the way as well, to build up and to tech up. To tech up in towards Lair tech, to work towards, I was going to say Hydra upgrades. To work towards Roach upgrades, Roach speed, Eva chambers for their tank, Spire play, Hydras. This won't be an efficient trade here. Yeah, it's not worth it. Shin is getting a little bit cavalier and needs to calm down. We don't want to throw too much away, as Shin has a comfortable lead, but if we throw too much away, then we can just counterattack with an all-in. Essentially, Bunny is all-in. Like, there's no macroing out of this. No shot. Mules are good, they're not that good. So from here, what are we waiting for? Waiting for a second medevac. Combat shields is almost done, so we're going to have a bit of an upgrade advantage here. And Bunny has to move out. Here comes the drop. Back at home, we have 1-1 upgrades. Roach speed, Roach production has begun. Shin, he went up to almost 3 base saturation, almost. We should soon be seeing a 4th base just for Larva. And here comes Bunny. Here comes Bunny. Now it's going to be on Bunny to try to keep up with the army, to maybe get into a mineral line, to trade as efficiently as possible, and to keep Shin busy initially. But like, again, we still need so much more than even what I just mentioned. We need to, again, get into a mineral line, kill a bunch of workers. We need to deny some upgrades. There's a lot riding on the shoulders of these Marines, of this double drop. Third base not being taken. Yeah, where's the 9 creep? We can maybe snipe the Ravager. Oh, he wants one. Doesn't quite get it. Oof. And Ravager does survive. Rotates over towards the 4th. And SHIN is in position. But he does try to stim in. He gets one, he gets 2 roaches. Jesus. Okay, 2 roaches go down. Behind this, third base is slowly getting saturated. We should be 8-raxing from here, but for now it's going to be a 5-rack setup. Here comes the main push, the main army. As I mentioned, Bunny is all in. It is a relatively terrifying force, and if he can fight within range of his tanks, then he can maybe take a fight. Tanks do siege. Oof! Wow, connects. Oh god, the bars are connecting. Not like this, man. Yeah, Bunny is gonna be denied. Not like this. An expensive run by. As Roaches, they bust into the mineral line, they get 5 SCVs. Waddle away. We got tunneling claws, we got burrow. This is a really nice way to take advantage of a player with a limited economy, just because Bunny doesn't want to scan, right? Because he's behind, ideally he does want to be muling. I say that he's banking a lot of energy, so I say he does have scans available. Never mind. But reinforcing scans is still going to be ideal for SHIN. SHIN is maxed. SHIN is maxed out. And again, you might be looking at this game saying, be like, oh, but Bunny got his 3rd up. Like, why is there such a supply disparity? It's because of the massive lead that SHIN had early on. The supply was lying. It took a little bit longer for SHIN's economy to really kick in, but once it did, bam, he's maxed. And now it's on SHIN to trade. Even if it's inefficiently, like, it's on him to start trading. Start pushing into the bases. And here he comes. We got our 1 Widowmine. Trying to drag out the shots. Connects with Roaches. We have 2 tanks behind this as well. Bowser is doing away the Marines. We're getting into the first tank. The first tank is going to go down. There's, what, 2 tanks left? Sorry. Oh, that's a decent tank line. Okay. We've got 4 tanks behind this protecting the 3rd, but not the natural. Yeah, there's a massive opening into the natural base. Tanks are too far back. Mineral line is denied. Factory is being camped. Ooh, the tanks had to re-siege, which means one of them goes out. Oh, catching a medevac as well. The medevac falls. 10 SCV kills. And SHIN just keep going. He can keep going. Gets another tank. I'll say turn away. And again, even though SHIN didn't necessarily kill, quote-unquote, I mean, he's still just reinforcing, rebuilding, remaxing, rallying across the map, and the pressure will not end. Will not end. And Bunny's army is becoming smaller and smaller. Originally, he had 5 tanks, now he's down to 2. And then 2 tanks. Nice Sunburrow there with the Widowmine. Speaking of 2 tanks, we're about to go down to 1. You can see SHIN peeling off some roaches to get high ground vision. Oof, and GG gets called. GG gets called. SHIN takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Does take a lead in the series. Winding it back, this all just came down to the all-in, right? It came down to the initial all-in, where we did have SHIN going for the hidden Roach Warren. Remember, it was a 3:35-ish Roach Warren timing, and Bunny unfortunately chose in the early game to open up, and his build of choice was to go Viking first, not Banshee. Banshees typically are a very safe way to play. They allow you to harass, they allow you to scout, but they also allow you to defend against these Roach all-ins, as you're able to use them to just focus on the Ravagers, right? Once you see the all-in coming, you can just right click on the Ravager, they can be focused down by the Banshees, and then that makes it a much cleaner defense for the Terran. But unfortunately, Bunny did take the chance, did take the risk, going Viking instead. And as I mentioned, I'm sure Shin was very happy when he saw the initial Viking with the Overlord. He's like, you're not gonna have any Banshees, let's just commit, let's just go for it. And with that, he was able to cripple and basically end the game. Sure, the game did last like an extra 5 or so minutes, but it was critical damage dealt early on, and there was a very slim chance for Bunny to deal equalizing damage across the map. GG. GG, well played. With that, we are getting into game 2. Shin is up in the series, and now we're going to be loading into Ruby Rock. Another one of these more aggressive maps, and there's a high chance we might see another all-in out of Shin, by the way. Like, oh no. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the red Zerg player, himself from South Korea, leading the series 1-0. It is Shin. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran representing Team Falcons. It is Bunny. Here we go. Here we are back. And again, we'll see how our players do adjust. We'll see if Bunny actually goes for a Banshee opener this time. It's one of those things where mind games does come into play, where as a player, in your mind, you might be thinking, he went for a Roach all-in game 1. He's not going to do it in game 2, right? No shot. He's not that crazy. It is Shin. I mean, but in his mind, it might be like, okay, you know, he's probably not going to do that again. Let's once again cut some corners, go Viking first, and go into earlier stim to be active with Bio, and I should be able to get away with it this time. And then Shin is like, yo, I'm gonna just all in again. Like, that's where that can come into play. Or the opposite is the case, where Bunny feels the need to go for a Banshee opener to be safe, just to be secure, and then Shin cuts corners and is a little bit greedier and gets away with greed instead. Right? This is where like the first game can impact the rest of the series and impact the rest of the matches. Now, shout out to the KSL. Big shout outs. But now we do have our Rax expands. Economic opener out of Bunny. So far, so good. Nice Hatchcast pull out of Shin. Once again, our eyes are on Bunny when it comes to his build of choice, when it comes to the timing of his third CC, the starport, and the add-ons as well. Meanwhile, from Shin, we're going to be looking for the third base timing, which is delayed. Oh. Late third expansion out of Shin, which means he's going to be staying on 2 bases. Is he going 2-base Roach, or potentially 2-base Muta? I know that Shin is very fond of 2-base Muta. Oh my god, the drone is so low. The drone is so very low here. The Reaper barely gets away. The drone does survive. But again, a very late third expansion for Shin. It should be down by now. And as I mentioned, we have been seeing some fast tech plays out of Shin. He's staying in gas. Okay, he's staying in gas. Typically, you get 100 gas, you get link speed, then you pull out. Here, he did not get link speed, and he's staying in gas. This looks like fast lair. This looks like 2-base Muta. Now, technically, this can be like a 2-base, like Link Queen Nidus all-in, or a 2-base Roach all-in, like with fast Roach speed. There's a lot available when you do go for a fast lair. As we're waiting for the Queen, and then we have the money for it. Yep, there it is, lair. So it is going to be a very fast lair here at 310. So 310 lair timing. We're skipping link speed. We have a Roach one initially, but this might be for show. Technically, you could still hide a Spire behind this, but for now, I'll take that face value. It is going to be, you know, heavy Roach play. Delayed third. Remember, this is an earlier Roach one than last game. Reaper pokes in. Reaper has yet to confirm. Now the Reaper, what Bunny knows is late third. So in his mind, he knows. Like, he knows it's either going to be a Roach all-in or 2-base Spire or 2-base Hydra. Like, he knows something is wrong, and back at home is opening up Liberator first, not Banshee again. Oh god. Doesn't get the tumor. Gases are being taken as we speak. Lair is about to finish. We have the money for a Spire. Is it gonna be Spire? Roach speed? Roach speed. Okay. Roach speed is on the way. If it was going to be mutas, then we would not get roach speed and we would just throw down the Spire immediately. So this is going to be heavy roach play. It is not a fake out. Overseer goes in. Overseer will confirm the lack of add-ons, does confirm early stim, and does confirm no Banshee. This means that SHIN can cut some corners. So you can see here the Spore is in position not in the mineral line. It's in position to defend against a Liberator. Speaking of, Spore here towards the natural. Queen's rotating over. Liberator is on the way. Meanwhile, Hellions towards the third, which is late, remember. So there's no drones. There's no saturation. And oh, we have the answer. It's going to be a German taxi. It is going to be a 2-base roach roll in. Hellions are about to confirm the lack of drones. This is a tell. He sees. Yeah, he sees no drones. It's a massive tell. Roaches are revealed. Hellions are trying to make their way into the natural. Do we fully wall off? We do. Wow. The Queens do full wall. Liberator into the... Oh. Liberator does escape. A bit of miscontrol here, sniping or attacking the spawning pool. But we just saw Pneumatized Carapace, which means we should be seeing Dropper Lords. Yep, there they are. Queens being sent across the map. We have the German taxi. We're loading up. We're rushing across the map. And back at home, do we have any tanks? The answer is no. There is one tank that's in production. And without tanks, there's no defense. And remember, there's no Banshee play either. Like, it's the same as last game where... I mean, I say the same as last game. This is a different build, to be fair. This is much more all-in, much more aggressive. Did hit with Lair Tech, of course. Roach speed is done. We're spreading creep. And we can start piling away at this wall. And this creep means that we just cannot expand. Bunny's stuck on 2 bases. As Drop Lord will rotate over towards the linear third, spreading more creep. And now SHIN is droning. SHIN, he does snipe the Liberator. Oh, sorry, he gets the tank. Never mind. Tank goes down. Liberator is going to be next. It'll take a little while, but does fall. I think we're just trading with the Marines. Ooh, taking down one of the depots. Did I say 1, 2? Ooh, 2 depots go down. We get 3. Tank does reposition, punishing the Ravagers. And at this point, SHIN has to get out of here. Yeah, he has to pull away. But again, he's spreading more tumors, forcing out more scans, delaying the expansion. And SHIN has been droning up. Has been macroing. And Bunny has to play from behind, right? Bunny has to play from a position where he's down in workers, down in economy. He lost a bunch of tanks, of course. His push, his timing was delayed. I will say that this position from Bunny is not as dire as last time. Remember, game 1, Bunny went down to what, 18 SCVs? Like, he went down to a 1-base saturation. Here, he was able to maintain 2 bases. So, technically, recovering here is a little bit more feasible for Bunny. Gets across the map. Can he force a cancel? Ah, never mind. Oh, he's going for it. Yeah, it does go for the cancel. It does cost him a bunch of units, though. That's a bold move out of Bunny. Meanwhile, we're just dropping, spreading more creep. SHIN, he's going for the Eric. Going for the Eric move. Ah. And this is just forcing out more scans, right? This is just doing quite a bit of damage here. As every scan could be a mule. Ooh, that's another cancel. Okay, okay. Nice cancellations out of Bunny. More scans, more creep denial. Queens, they rotate over. Spreading more creep. And SHIN is maxed. Like SHIN, he's already maxed out. Again, that's just how far ahead he has been due to the economic damage. Tanks are exposed, and SHIN is here to just knock down the tank line. 2 tanks go down. At the same time, we do have a drop across the map. Does get a queen. Takes down a queen. Does delay reinforcements. But the main army still keeps pushing. Yeah, the main army is still gaining ground. Oof, almost kills the CC. Shin can just rebuild, remax. He's in position to deal with the drop. Does go for the rotation, but tanks are on the high ground. Oh, the Marines are not. Another tank falls. Shin, he rotates. This time he reinforces. Shin, he's made his way onto the high ground. And he'll get at least one tank. He'll get two. No shot. One tank goes down. Second survives. Spotty just wants to expand. He just wants a third base. He just wants a third. Yeah, and shit is overwhelming. Diving on the final tank line here. 1, 2, 3 tanks going to be going down. Surrounds on the Bio's on the Medivacs. And Shin will claim the series. GG gets called. Shin, he'll claim the series 2-0, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Shin, he will claim the series, winding it back again. Heavy Roach aggression in both games out of Shin. Game 1, he went for a 335 Roach Warren timing for a Roachling all-in. Game 2, we saw a 310 lair timing instead, going for a German taxi, going for drop lords. And we saw that Shin, he wasn't able to kill, but he was able to cripple here in Game 2. He was able to deny the third base, kill tanks, kill depots, contain Bunny on 2 bases while he droned up back at home and was able to build up his third, his fourth base as well, and max out very quickly to break the third base once again. GG. GG, well played. So heavy Roach play both in game 1 and game 2. And fun fact, both games Bunny did not open Banshee. Not saying that that's required to defend against this, not at all, but it does make it easier. Does make it easier, and unfortunately we just did not see any Banshee play. Technically here in game 2 there would have been an answer to the Banshee. That would have been the Queens. That's the added advantage of the German taxi variation in ZvT, is you have some anti-air for the Banshee. Instead, they were just used to spread creep and force out scans, of course. But that would have been the attempted answer here for any kind of air-based defense. But GG. GG, well played with that. Congratulations. Shin, he does advance on into the semifinals, and we have our next series. We're going to be following him into those semis. It's going to be Shin versus Hero in a best of 3. Let's go.